Hello there, and welcome to DropShot TV, where we'll be discussing the latest tennis matches and upcoming tournaments, previewing the games, and discussing all things tennis. So let's begin with the tournament coming up this weekend. So we have the Canadian Open, Toronto ATP, which we are now into we're going into the last 16 now, where there are some really exciting matches coming up. The player I've been really impressed with so far has been Holger Rune, who has had a tricky year this past year. He's dealt with a lot of different injuries, but he's performed really well overall of the year. Apart from Wimbledon, the grass season was not too good for him, but obviously winning in Barcelona against Alcaraz has been the highlight of the year for him. He beat a tough opponent in Paricci-Paricard at the first match of the Canadian Open, and is looking really good, hasn't dropped a set yet. Obviously we have Zverev as the number one seed with no Alcaraz and no Jannik Sinner as of yet. We'd of course expect that to see them at the Cincinnati Masters as the tournament, just so they can get some warm up for the US Open, which Jannik Sinner obviously holds. Another big name looking to win the Canadian Open is Taylor Fritz. He's been on a really strong run this year, and yeah, although I believe he doesn't show so much personality off the court, on the court he's a really strong player, great server, and an overall strong player who reached the final of the US Open last year and be looking to do one better this year for sure. But of course, it's going to be tough to knock Alcaraz and Sinner off those number 1 and 2 spots. Casper Ruud is another one to watch out for, along with Alexander Zverev, who of course you never really know how well he's going to perform, but when he is on form, it's difficult. I would put him up there to win a Grand Slam one day, but it may just be now that Alcaraz and Sinner have reached a level where you would think that Alexander Zverev may be very difficult for him to win a Grand Slam at the end of the day. But he's a player that on his day, I believe, on a one-off day where maybe Alcaraz and Sinner have an off day and he has an on day, he is capable of winning a tournament, and he's good on hard court, and so I think he really does have a chance. Although he had a bad grass court season, I really do believe he's got a really big chance of achieving something, whether that be a quarterfinal or a semi-final in the US Open. At this point, I'm not sure if that is a good achievement for him anymore. I'm sure he's really looking to get at least one Grand Slam in his career, but it's looking very difficult for him at the moment. The other two players that will be looking to go as far as possible and are still within the Canadian Open are Alex de Minaur, who's been performing really well. Just a great tank on him, and he's been picking up some really great wins. Obviously, coming off the win against Davidovich Fokina in Washington, unfortunately lost to Djokovic in Wimbledon, which you can't really say too much about. But de Minaur is always there, and he's always going to be fighting. And I believe it's very difficult to beat de Minaur, especially on his day. Ben Shelton is another one that holds a strong personality within the tour, especially on court, which we love to see. We love to see an on court personality, which I feel like we may be missing a little bit. I know Sinner doesn't really show much personality on court. Alcaraz does, and Shelton, I hope, will push on and hopefully join those guys, and able to show the crowd really what he's made of, and I hope with his big serve. I hope he can go as far as possible in the US Open, and it would really make it exciting if he was playing, out of his skin. Another player that I think is important to mention quickly is Bublik. Bublik has been really, really strong, and he's been winning a lot of the past competitions. So I think he'll be one to watch out for in the US as well. Let's see where he fares. He hasn't been competing in Cincinnati, but I do believe he's been over there in Generali, where he won, and he beat Arthur Kazar in the final. So all the best to Bublik as well. It's sort of make or break for him at 28 years old. So yeah, it's a really important and exciting up and coming last few months of the tennis season, really. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the preview for the for the Canadian Open. Let's see what happens. We'll be checking back in with you before the US Open to see the draw, who the favourites are, and how I believe the tournament is going to fare out. Thank you for listening.